Fox 2 Detroit is now streaming free on Fox Local. Download now on your preferred streaming device for live newscasts and more.
Guys, I wanted to share this with you because we've been talking about it a lot. I binge watched Painkiller.
And?
It was great. It was great. So Ryan, Marielle has watched it. Have you watched it yet? So here's a little clip.
Again.
Pain is no longer something we have to tolerate. We have an answer.
How can something legally prescribed be killing so many people?
Tell me what words you associate with oxycodone.
Oxy what?
This is the dramatized version of Purdue Pharma aggressively marketed the highly addictive painkiller OxyContin. They said it wasn't addictive. Matthew Broderick plays the former Purdue Pharma chairman, Richard Sackler.
He's so good in it.
He's really good.
Isn't Uzo Aduba in this as well?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She plays the investigator. So the disclaimer at the beginning of each episode says many of the details around Sackler and other characters in the show are based on real people, but they've been fictionalized. Now, this guy, Barry Meyer, who served as consultant producer, he wrote the book Painkiller, said that the show is based on a lot of reality, but it's impossible to know what happened behind closed doors at Purdue, so they had to take some liberties with that. But I mentioned this guy, Barry, because he did groundbreaking reporting on the opioid epidemic when people weren't really talking about it. And he also appears in Crime of the Century. So I did a deep dive on this. That's a documentary about the opioid epidemic, and that's on HBO. Here's a little clip of that.
Purdue didn't have any evidence that the drug was safe.
Yeah, so this is a documentary. It's 2 parts, also following the opioid epidemic in the United States. It is, in my opinion, a really important documentary to watch because it really gets into where the government failed us and how just greed, I mean, just greed, putting people's lives at risk. The Sackler family, they owned this Purdue Pharma drug maker, and they were able to convince one guy really at the FDA that their drug was safe. And they started peddling it out with these young drug reps. Went to doctors' offices, and doctors started prescribing it.
Wow.
And they became drug dealers in white coats.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's...
They compare it to being able to get similar to heroin, but at your local drugstore.
Wow.
And really just going completely unchecked and killing. It's estimated maybe as many as 500,000 Americans died.
Wow.
And millions of Americans addicted, and
lives
the lives
ruined. Yeah.
affected in that. You know, the maddening part for me, and you can't, for me, and I'll speak for myself, I cannot watch that and watch the greed and the money and the government interference and not think, if this is okay, what else is okay? I'm not trying to be some conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but you cannot watch that and say this is the only thing they've ever done that for.
Right.
So,
like, in other words, what else are they hiding from us?
Right. So
Yeah.
I don't know,
It's
man.
something.
It is eye-opening, and yeah.
One's a 2-parter, and the other is a...
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You done with there, Steve? We good?
Full yell going on over there.
You good, Howard? Everybody's okay? All right.
Yeah, this two-parter on
is the documentary.
HBO on Max is available. I watched part 1 last night.
And the other one is a 4-parter?
The other part is, it might be more than on Netflix,
What?
Painkiller.
Painkiller's four episodes.
4-parter.
4 episodes. The one on HBO Max is documentary, 2-hour movies. Essentially, two-hour shows.
Right.
So, yeah.
The gist of it is, just real, and then we'll move on, but when these pills, it's OxyContin, in other words, oxy in a continuous dose, okay? So when people took it as prescribed, it was supposed to slowly get into your system over 12 hours. Well, then people became addicted and needed more, so they started crushing it up and inhaling it, getting rid of that coating that made it a slow dose.
Release.
Oh,
So
wow.
suddenly people are getting huge doses of basically heroin and then needing more and more and more. grinding it up,
Wow.
and then you turn to injecting heroin.
And then the
I've
doctors,
never heard it explained like that,
Yeah.
David.
yeah,
That is fascinating.
yeah, they go over it in the documentary, as well. Yes.
Really?
and then the
Interesting.
doctors quit prescribing it to you, and then you go on the street
go on
and
the
look
street
for
and
it
try to get it.
elsewhere.
And then
that's
you're
how you get
finding,
it.
and then
Right.
you're ODing, then you're getting fentanyl, and you're getting, you're stealing from your
Man, you're going down a
parents
route
and
that
everybody
leads
else.
to destruction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all because of what started as a
prescription.
prescription drug.
And a lot of people were injured and used it. Just some
And they were
simple
giving
things.
it out for stuff that it never
Like candy.
should have been. Yeah,
You know,
you should have been taking a Tylenol.
And,
All right.
and again, the hard. Once you break trust, just think about it in your own life. If somebody breaks trust in your own life, just how hard that is to regain somebody's trust once you break it. For me, you know, the government broke my trust on this.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a long time before I get it back.
Yeah.
You know, just personally for me.
No, I understand. I understand.
Fox 2 Detroit is now streaming free on Fox Local. Download now on your preferred streaming device for live newscasts and more.